Today we have a very special guest, Washington Wilkes native and author, Mrs. Willie Agnes Chennault. How are you doing today, Mrs. Chennault?
I'm fine.
Oh yeah, thank you for taking the time this afternoon to sit down to speak with me. So you were born and raised in Washington, Georgia?
Yes, sir. Been here all my life.
Okay, and what was your parents' name?
Henry and Mamie Lou Calloway.
Okay. And how many siblings do you have?
I have 5 brothers and sisters.
Okay. And then later in life you married and became a Chennault.
Yes, met my husband in 19th grade.
Okay, and what's your husband's name?
Lazarus Chennault Sr.
Okay, how many kids do you all have?
I have 3 sons and 1 daughter.
Okay. Yeah, I be seeing you on Facebook and I noticed that you've written a couple of books.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And I don't get a chance to come through it as much as I would like, so I definitely gonna have to get a copy of 1 or 2 of those books. What was the name of your first book?
The next time I go to heaven, I will not be back. That's the title of my first book.
The first book, okay.
Yes, sir.
And I know that you used to work in the school system. You used to be, you was over my class a time or 2.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed you, Pastor. You was the smartest and well-mannered child in the class.
But some people say I used to be a troublemaker.
Well, you talked a lot, but you got your lesson on time. You got that. You did that.
Oh, okay.
You got your work done.
Yeah, I make sure I always handle business first. I remember sometimes, I don't know if you had to put me out the class, but I know you used to give me extra work.
I put you behind the door one day, you remember?
Yeah, ma'am. But that still didn't work too much, though, did it?
But you didn't give me no mouth back. You got behind the door. You peeped out behind the door every now and then, but you was all right.
Yeah, because I knew if I did too much, I had to hear from my grandmother and my Aunt Jackie.
Yeah.
But yeah, but God was just training me up, then I guess for times such as this, and now I'm still running my mouth, but I run my mouth for the Lord and try to help people now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. But what inspired you to write your first book, Miss Chennault?
Well, Pastor, I got sick one day. I had double pneumonia. I got sick right here, in the bathroom, and then I sit right there. I had double pneumonia sepsis. And I didn't know what was happening to me. It just hit me all over. I just came from Atlanta, that following weekend. I did my little chores around here now. That Friday night morning about 10 o'clock, May 19, 2017, I took deathly ill. And what I remember 911 coming in the door, but I never did see the top of their face, but I saw their legs, and I just faded away. I went to heaven. I popped into heaven. People don't know, immediately after you die, you immediately one of 2 places. You in heaven or in hell. We can look at Luke chapter 16, rich man and Lazarus. Immediately, Lazarus in heaven. The rich man was in hell. Begging Abraham for some ice, for some water. Tell my brothers. Let Lazarus go back and tell my brother, don't come here. See, who thinking about his brother? Rich man, they cared not about the poor. Poor Lazarus laid at the gate. They set him now day after day after day. He drove on by, But look at Lazarus now. Lazarus is enjoying himself. He begging for some ice water.
Yes, ma'am. So in other words, that's one of my slogans with what I do here. Everybody has a story to tell.
Yes.
But thank God that He put it on your heart to put your story in the book.
Yeah, before I left the hospital, I got a message. I told the Lord, if you heal my body, I'm going to tell everybody. And He told me to go tell everybody. He told me to write it and preach it. But see, people are thinking it's a strange thing for me. But see, I got anointed while I was in heaven to come back and tell people about the gospel. I always have loved Jesus. And when that day, after I came home, I stayed in the hospital 39 days. When I came home that day, I walked on my walk around the house. You see how my house go around that circle around the house? And I had my phone in my bag, in my pocket. And I could hardly get my phone out. And the frog, I had a bag of a drum of water ran in the back. And this big old frog here, he came up to the top of the drum. The barrel still ran there. And I snapped that picture. And the Spirit said, put that on the front of your book. And that's where it comes from.
Now, how many days you say you stayed in the hospital? 39
days. I had to learn to walk again.
Well, what number after 39?
I came home on the 39th
I said, but what number come after 39?
40.
And you know 40 is a biblical number.
Yes.
So wow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And because I believe what you're saying, because I know my grandmother, when she was living, she had open heart surgery. You all used to talk a lot, and she said when she had her surgery, like she had the out of body experience.
Yes.
And said the Lord told her to come back and speak about love. But yeah, wow, that's amazing. But God sent you back for a reason.
Yeah, I saw Jesus. I stood right side Jesus. It's hard for people to believe. Now I walked amongst all the people in the biblical people in the Bible days. I saw all those people, and everyone welcomed me.
Well, it's hard for the people.
Yeah, it's hard for anybody to believe that.
Well, it's hard for probably people to believe because they don't believe.
Yes.
They don't believe in God. But if you telling a believer, it's easy for one of us to believe. I believe.
See, the people don't know me. You're down here. It's your spirit coming out here. See, we living in the flesh when we do things that are not of God. But see, it's the spirit that God gonna use. He gonna out of your body the moment you die.
Yes, ma'am.
And see, and that's what God gonna work with this soul. But I was a younger woman over there. I was a younger woman. This picture right here, that's how I looked. See that picture right there with my husband, that's how I looked. I looked just like that picture.
And what year did you say all this happened?
2017.
17.
And I done had to fight many more battles after that. But I won't go into it, but I done had to fight many more battles.
Oh yeah, yes ma'am, we all have. And then that your second book, you just recently released it not long ago, right?
Yes, I released the book. I sold all of them yesterday. Patrick, this is the flyer of the book. I sold it. I had a car full of books yesterday.
Well, that's a good problem.
And I met the wrong people, some white people, some black people, and my good friends. You know, I ain't calling about no race, but I'm just telling you. It's a mixture of people that know me.
And what's the name of this most recent one?
Shucks to Silk.
Okay.
I used to pick so much corn, had to shuck so much corn. Patrick.
You cook it too, okay?
Yeah, but I don't eat corn now. I don't eat corn. I ate so much when it was coming up, over the years.
Yeah, ma'am.
My mom used to fry big old skittles of corn, all this fat back meat, all these biscuits. We can't eat like that now. My people at my age can't eat like that now. We have to be careful with going out there.
Yeah, ma'am.
You have to be very careful.
So, since 2017 to where now, coming to the end of 23, you were so filled up, you couldn't just stop at one book. You had to write another.
But see, Patrick, when I sit in that dining room and at my computer, my mind leaves this world. And whatever the Lord give me right there, that's what I write. Now, a lot of people don't even believe I write these books.
Well,
I write these books.
That book right there.
I write these books.
That book right there, Miss Chennault, I believe it got more pages than the Bible.
Yeah, but see,
how many pages that book is?
It's got 608. Look, when I start.
But it's all like the Bible, all inspired by the Lord.
Yeah, when it's time for me to stop writing a book, my hands get like that. I told my daughter said, Mom, I'm a believer. When I come to the end of a book and the Lord say that's enough, my hand, I can't type no more.
Well, Miss Chennault, I love to write, and I got some book idea that I started on and never finished one. But for you to have that much right there, that shows your dedication. And in order for you to have put something out like that, you definitely had to have something in you.
Yeah, inspired from the Lord. And one chapter in this book, I lost my son in 1977. And in 1978, I was right. We had no computer like this, this Dropbox computer. And I wrote that story. And it was back there in my closet. And I got it out back there one day while I write this book. And I put it in here. About Noah, how I lost my son Noah stillborn. I wrote that 46 years ago. And I put a chapter in this book.
Because God know that probably could help somebody else.
Yeah. But I went through it, I lost my son.
Yeah, ma'am.
And
so, if somebody wanted to buy that, your first or your second book, how could they purchase your book, Miss Chennault?
But this book is on Amazon. This book is on audio. Now, this book is on audio also. On audio, it's taking 17 hours. You can listen to it for 17 hours. That's how long it takes later to read the book on audio. It's just how long
So you had the written version and the audio version?
Yes.
Okay.
But then in this book, Barnes & Noble set in my contract for this book, Barnes & Noble. Now we're working on audio, we on this book.
So they accepted it, or it's going to be in Barnes & Noble, or it's in there now?
And you can go to Barnes & Noble and they'll audit for you. It should be in stuff, but if
on their
not
website.
in there, if it's not in there, you can tell them, call my name and the title, and you can get it that way.
Oh wow, that's all right. That's a blessing. Look at God.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, and again, like I know who inspired you. You said, but so what was your main purpose in writing the books? Period.
But the Lord told me to tell what I have done for you.
Right.
You see, I tell it all the time. You can read on the Facebook. I tell it every day what the Lord will do for me.
Yes, ma'am.
I tell it everywhere I go. I'm not ashamed of the gospel of the Lord, because He done brought me so far.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2% chance of making it. 2% chance.
And He didn't just keep you here for you. He kept you here for Him.
My testimony is too powerful to put up on that chair there and let it stay.
Mm-hmm.
It's too powerful.
Yes, ma'am.
It's too powerful. Heart stop, all my organs fail. You know.
And you don't look like what you've been
Kidneys
through.
wouldn't work, you know. They already had to put me, like I said, I already had to got my that Thompson kidney place. You know, I already had that sign before I left the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But Pastor, when I got back home, it took me a whole year to get strong. I sleep like this the way I used to fall off all day in the hall till I get to the kitchen right here. Trying to get me some oatmeal. Plenty days, they feel like, heavy. So, when he do not I stumbled to this kitchen, stumbled till I got to that kitchen. And I fixed me some oatmeal. But it took me a long time to even be able to drive again.
So coming up, I guess you came up in the church. Because back then, even in my generation, I'm along the age with some of your kids, we didn't have a choice back then where we wanted to go to church or
my
not.
children had no choice whether to go to church or not.
And I'm sure you
go out and stay out with your girlfriend all night. You okay? Half of the night, and I get in my sleep room. I go take that toe, get up, let's go to church. 16, 17, and they gotta put the clothes on. Plenty of time they didn't want me to fool them, so they were up by the time I got up.
So when even like I said, when you came along, you didn't have a choice. So that seed,
no, we didn't have no choice about nothing.
That seed was planted in you, so you knew even what you were going through. You already knew what the law.
Our parents didn't bargain with us like these.
So you already knew the law was a healer.
Yes, yes. When I was 11 years old, I found the Lord in the plum bushes. It's in this book. I was standing in the plum bush eating plum one day, and somebody tapped me on my shoulder like I lied to tell. I know who it was. In 1968, that's when I accepted Jesus as my Savior.
So when you were going through your issue in what was it 2017, you didn't have no doubt in your mind that the law was
Pastor, that what I experienced, I went through was so hard and devastating. I couldn't really put it into words. I had to go through so much. Even they had to order me blood from California, platelet that I needed. And no other state had the blood. All my blood was poison. Poison. Not running through my body, but poison blood. I couldn't hardly see. My eyes were closed. All in my mouth had under clay. When I spit up, corruption ran all out my mouth. All behind my butt had to stuck to the cup with corruption. And my Timmy too was they took me from the doctor's hospital to Selected Hospital. They tell me nobody come out of Selected Hospital. But I did.
Yes, ma'am.
I came out of Selected Hospital.
Wow, that's ironic, because that's what I preached about today, to the blood.
Yes.
And about the power of the blood and the life in the blood. And I had used that analogy in my sermon about bloodletting and different ways that sometimes you had to get that old blood out and get some new blood and I say that to say even through all that you were still covered by the blood, blood of Jesus. Yes. Yes, I was covered by the blood of Jesus. When I took on Jesus, I took him on. Yes, ma'am. I just, he was all my hope. And he been raising my children, getting them through college. See all my degrees up there? All of them degrees, got all 4 of them through college. People say I couldn't do it. My mom told me, "Money, you don't have no money to send them children to school." Well, let me ask you this. I didn't say a word. I kept on praising God. What I know people raise kids a lot different now than they used to, but what advice would you give parents now that have not only 4 kids, but even if they just have 1 child mission? Now, what's that? Because I see you, I see all the plaques and stuff on the wall, and I see on Facebook you and your husband did a great job of raising your kids. Yeah, we won't easy, but and how y'all been married for what, decades? 49 years, 8 months. See, more people now that's a blessing, and that's rare these days because a lot of people get married and divorced now in the same year. First man told me I was pretty. And then when I got, he fell in love. He told me he gonna take care of me all my life. Even in high school, he told me I'm gonna take care of you all your life. That's why I'm gonna take care of you too. We made that promise even before we made our vows in marriage. We made that promise.
We still hanging on by grace and
He
mercy.
held up to his end.
We still hanging on, all I can tell you.
Yeah, man, but what advice would you, what's the key to being together 49 years and raising four successful children?
Well, the key is really, you got to know Jesus. Both of y'all have to be on the same page. Now, my husband couldn't pull this way and I pull that way. When we tell our children something, they can't just go to daddy. Daddy change what mama say, mama change what daddy ain't gonna work. And my children tried it one time. I said, "What did your daddy say?" And that was it. So you can't be switch swapping in your marriage.
And see, a lot of people don't get married, and marriages don't last, I believe, because that ain't what they seen. A lot of boys and girls, they ain't grow up with both parents in the house, you know, so they don't know nothing about, you know, having that structure like that.
But you still can make it. I don't care if you have one parent or two parents. It's best to have two parents. But if you know Jesus, you can make it. A lot of people have made with just one grandmama. You can make it if you want to make it.
So that's the
You don't have to keep coming out what mama didn't do, what dad do, and what father do. You can make it if you pull. And with Jesus, you can pull and do the right thing. So a lot of people don't want to do the right thing.
Well, Miss Chennault, what you think the biggest difference is, but the way things is now than the way it was back then when kids were being raised?
But I tell you one thing: these young parents are too easy on the child. They how you put it? They give them so many choices. You have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old. I didn't give my children too many choices because they didn't know. I said when I said do something, I meant do it, and that was it. You know, Mama, I don't want to eat this. What did I cook? Eat what I cook. So I'm not going to set a meal for you. Eat what I cook. If I cook beans, a piece of pinto, whatever I cook, you sit to the table and you eat it. I didn't have time for so much stuff. You know, these young people, they got too much stuff going on with the children. You know, you be the boss of your house. Mother and daddy need to be the boss, not the child. Don't try to be the child friends to others. You love your child enough when you die, because you're going to die one day, going to leave them here. And then what? If you don't make them strong, raise your children to be strong in the word of God.
Oh, yeah.
Raise them to be what people, tell them about different kinds of people. Tell them about people, how different kinds of situations. Now, I got another book, Pastor. I'm going to be finishing next week. It's got 40 chapters. I'm talking about a lot of stuff with just living.
Your third
marriage, children.
Your third book?
Oh, this
going to be number what?
Number 3.
Well, the law pointed it out.
Now he gave me 40 chapters. I'm still working on chapter 40.
There go that number 40 again.
I'm working on chapter 40. But Pastor, I'm talking about a lot of stuff about marriage, raising children. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. How the young women can meet a man and a man can just, you know, make them they go to bed with them so quick and then I don't want them no more, they gone. You know, a man like the honey spray. A man like the honey spray, just like a rabbit, a squirrel come. You know, your man like the honey
well, make
spray.
it plain, Miss Chennault. That's what we need to make it plain.
We got to make it plain. See, this book is real plain. Real plain.
Well, see, a lot of people used to talk about, you know, people leaving stuff behind for the kids. A lot of people think, oh, that just mean money or possession. But that money and that possession, if once you going on, and you just that's all you left for money and possession, they gonna go through that quick.
Oh yes.
But if you ain't planted there to taught them there, you know that gonna last way longer than that money.
But see, I don't worry about that with my children. I know my children. I told my children everything that I knew. My mama, everything. My mom and daddy told me. I told my children all about it. And they bring up to me sometimes about the cat going across the road. The cat go to the left and bad luck go to the right. And they mouth X on the car. You know, I mean, we were talking about all kind of stuff here with my children. You know. And
then like when you leave them behind books.
Yeah. Even this is going to be in the library. The United States of Congress accepted my book. It in the library in Wilson County.
And see, like, each generation we'll say, your generation, you come from a generation before me. So it's like we had to soak up all the wisdom we can. Even the generation before you, a lot of them going on. And if you didn't get their wisdom from them while they were here, you can't go out there to the church cemetery and get it. It going on with them. Even some of the recipes and other little stuff that, you know, should be kept in the family as tradition and wisdom. If you don't seek it, you won't get it.
Yeah, but
you know, 'cause a lot of the young people now, they want to run after foolishness instead of seeking wisdom. Even like what we doing today, just chronicling this little conversation here. There'll be something that'll be stored up for years to come, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So, Miss Chennault, what is some of the stuff you enjoy doing besides writing?
Oh, I garden. You know, I used to sew, but I was so no more have time because I fish. I would beat my husband catching fish. You know, we go fishing every now and then.
Oh, say that part. You always what?
I always beat him catching fish.
Will he agree? If he was sitting right there beside you, will he agree to that?
Huh?
If he was sitting right there beside you, will he agree that you beat him?
What you asking?
Well, I ask him when we get out the camera. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ask.
Well, y'all.
And I garden, you know, I plant stuff, you know. A lot of times we be in line with the children. I be here with my grandchildren. Every now and then, you know, I go to line with my grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I work so hard over my life, you know, I just maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just maneuver here and there, you know. I put a lot of time in my writing. I put a lot of time in just relaxing, you know, and staying in prayer.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, means you know, I have a lot of doctor's appointments. We have to be busy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just thank God He done brought me thus far. I always pray the Lord let me live to raise my children. And He let me live to raise my children, and all of them are seller. Now I'm asking Him to pray. I'm praying now, asking Him to let me live to see my grandchildren grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get them seller, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my grandchildren they always love to hear a word from Grandma and Grandpa. Grandma and Grandpa mean a whole lot in a child's life. You know, when we go to Atlanta, oh, they just be so happy. They come running, oh, Grandma and Grandpa, oh, they're so happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we enjoy that.
Well, one thing I can say, the Lord been good to you and your husband, because
It ain't been easy, Pastor.
I've been knowing y'all for a good part of my life, and y'all look the same as y'all did. Y'all,
I was 18.
Y'all look the same when first time I ever seen y'all, saw y'all. Oh yeah, the Lord is good. But yeah, sometimes, like I said, that's good that you sharing a lot of your wisdom in your books and stuff, because we got this soak up. I'm speaking like from my generation. We need to get all the wisdom we can from
Yes.
I know I'm not calling you old, but you know, from our elders, people
Yes, sir,
from generation before us, because it's just so much hidden jewels that you can find in conversation with the generation before you. And like you said, with your experience that you experienced when you went on over yonder and came back.
It's beautiful over there. Ain't nothing that you can ever think about.
Well, let me ask you this. Because a lot of people say, well, when people go on, they're like, well, they wouldn't come back if they wanted to. Like they said, people, they wouldn't, if they had the chance to come back, they wouldn't come back. So when you was on the other side, can you remember, did you want to come back?
I didn't have no choice. My mama told me to stop right there. She said, don't come close. She said, you can't come with us yet. I saw my mama, auntie, Lou, and niece sitting at the table. They said, you can't. My mama with me a lot of time. My mama with me at 2 or 3 phases of heaven. And she said, you can't come with us yet. You got to go back. It's not your time. You got to go back. And my aunt Nee looked around the table. She said, this you, Will Agnes? She always called me Will Agnes. And Aunt Lou just said, now Aunt Lou didn't never say much, no. She just sat down with her arm cold as looking. But you can tell that the spirit world, that moved by magic.
And you remember all this vivid.
Yeah, the Lord gave me all this vivid. I walked up on Jesus. He's an olive colored man. I saw his son out here had an eggshell robe on. And he looked at me. I walked up on Jesus. Can you imagine walking up on Jesus? I walked up on the Almighty.
And can you remember when your mother told you that you couldn't stay? How did it make you feel? I was
smiling all the way.
I'm saying, did you want to stay?
But I had no choice, because the Lord already had a plan in my mama what was for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't have no choice whether I stayed or not. Because when the Spirit said, come through my mama and said, you got to go back, I had to go back, and that was it.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I had no choice, but you don't have no choice about the matter.
So all this is in that first book?
Yeah, all this in that book. But you know, Patrick, when you die, let me tell you something. When you die, your bond is already picked out when you're going to heaven. It's already been settled with Jesus. It's already been settled. I can't imagine nobody going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't imagine a bottomless pit and torment forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people don't even mind going to hell. I don't believe how the world is now.
Oh yeah, they sure don't seem like they.
You know, our church don't become full of pride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all about me. They don't know they got to die.
And most of them empty. Ain't full of them.
And I know they don't even know they got the dye. This little stuff here, they're gonna be dust.
Yeah, ma'am.
We don't catch nothing with us.
So your first book, you told a lot about your experience. So the Shucks to Silk. Now, what is that book mostly about?
This is a book about how I feel. Now, I wrote a book. I got a letter here to Obama. Obama got to be elected president. I laid beside my bed, and I wrote a poem in about 10 minutes. And then I fell asleep, and I got up next morning, I read the poem. I said, I wrote this. I am. I don't see how I wrote that poem. You need to read that poem back.
I will. Oh yeah, definitely. When you get that,
Obama wrote me a letter back. He said, "Thank you, Miss Chennault," and I enjoyed it. But these poems in here about when the love letter my husband wrote me in the 10th grade. I put it to poetic form.
So that book more poetic.
And more poet. It's a poet book. And my mom and daddy died. Got poems by them when I was walking the road bare feet. They had no food to eat. And I used to see all these white people cows over here, and I said to them, "Well, can't we eat some of them cows? And we so why can't we have a cow? Kill a cow and eat it?" I asked my mom. She said, "No, the white folk cow. You know you can eat. We can eat no white folk cow. You know, we all that went on in the 60s.
Right.
You know, everybody was loving in the 60s, not like they are now.
Yeah,
you know, people's not loving like they should be."
Well, a lot of people said that back then it was the worst time. So by you being back
it might have been the worst time, but people love one another. Now I can run over to the neighbor house and get a little sugar, and I can get a little flour wrapped up in a little piece of brown paper, and we wouldn't be scared to eat it. Now you run to your neighbor, how you be scared to eat a little flour if you had to send for it, wouldn't you? I know you would.
And then if you got it, everybody in town to know you had.
That's what I'm talking about. Ain't nobody's gossip about nobody. We went and got a little flour, got a little meal, got a little piece of meat. Ain't nobody said
they go on about your business.
Go on about your business. Nobody said a word. They were a little turned over. They flipped over since
and then back then, if you seen somebody that child acting up, you can get on them.
Yes. See, that's what me and your auntie Jack were working together. If she saw any of my children in trouble, she would tell me. You know, if I see any of her children, I would tell her. But these days, people want to see your children in trouble. They rejoice at stuff like that.
And then you do something, say something to their child, the parent be ready to jump on.
Yes. We living on borrowed time. We living on the fumes of the barrel now. You know, time is almost over.
Yeah, man.
People don't believe time is almost gone. It's almost over in my generation.
And your third book is going to be more about like parenting.
Life. I'm talking about everything in that book, Patrick.
Okay. 40 chapters.
It amazed me. I'm on chapter number 40. I'm not finished. I'm about to be finished. I hope it's next week.
So, like I said, I know you used to work in the school system. So, when did you first discover, Miss Chennault, that you were a writer?
I've been writing all my life.
All your life? Okay.
All my life. I've been writing all my life. Some of these poems in here 15, 20 years old.
So, like I said,
15, 20 years old in this book here. I thought about that. I told my
so the seed had been planted.
Yeah.
It just wasn't your time yet.
Yeah, it just blossomed.
So, yeah. And
I've been writing all my life.
Yeah, ma'am.
When my children in high school, I had to write some of their papers.
But, okay.
Yeah, I would laugh at that other day. When he hurt his leg, you know, he hurt they chose the ALC, and I had to go to that high school every week and pick a pack of paper. I said, I did all your English, I did your history, but soon I can't do no math. Yeah, I can do a little comment, but you get to that.
All them
yeah, but he, you know, my son, now Otis a mad whiz, you know, he's a mad whiz.
Yeah, man.
And you know, he did that, but he was hurting so bad he couldn't able to do that. You know, the little stuff. And you know, I've been writing for my children. I help my children all through. You know, I've helped them. You know, do all the homework. It was a hard job going over homework, Patrick. Going to all those PTG meetings, I didn't miss a one over all the years. I went to this class, when I had to go to that school, go to that school.
Yeah, man.
He won't easy on me.
Yeah, man.
It was hard, but I stood the test, Patrick.
Well, Miss Chennault, since you and your husband did such a wonderful job of raising your four, and I'm sure you had impact on a lot of more, what advice would you give our young people, the young fellas and just young people in general, the young fellas and ladies, the parents and the children, what advice would you give to them?
But I can tell the young parents, don't focus so much on yourself. People's in the young marriage, they want their cake and pie and eat it too. You gotta have, when you bring children into this world, they are your full responsibility. They're raised from 0 on up to 18 to get them settled somewhere in some college or school. And then only you're going to talk to them on. You know, you don't never stop being a parent, really. You know, like my children call, we talk every now and then, but you must, husband and wife got to be together. You know, you got to be together. And you got to pray, and you got to focus on what's good. Don't find what's bad in each other, trying to argue all day. Argue all day over one sentence. Now, me and my husband, somebody said 2 or 3 words when we argue, and that's it. That had been like that all our life. And 8 minutes, we forgot what we talked about.
Well, he know he can't win with you anyway.
You know, but I had no time. I had no time for that. I had to make sure my children don't be poor. I come up trying to find school clothes, trying to find something to wear to school. But I told my children, on up when they was right here, you ain't gonna be poor. I said, you want to go to the dollar store and shop, or you want to go to Macy's or Richard buy your clothes? Take Mom, we want to go to Macy's because we love to go to the mall. I said, well, you gonna do the work, then lesson and get there. And all my children played sports, and then they kept a good average. Cause I was on them. I was on them like this. You ever seen the line? I was on them behind them like this. Mm-hmm. I stayed on my sons. I watched who my sons dated. I watched who my daughters dated. You know, I went through all that, Patrick. Mm-hmm. It won't ease at being as a young mother. Mm-hmm. Young mother at 19 years old.
Yeah, man. And not to like I said, I see a lot of stuff on social media, and I know that all of your kids are growing up and doing something successful. But I know one that really stood out to me. I don't know if he maybe is him the young
baby. Him the baby.
He the baby. Okay, and he's a minister. Am I correct? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got my theology degree too.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my theology degree too.
And where does he pastor at?
Park Avenue Baptist Church.
Okay, and where's that located?
In Atlanta, right there by the zoo on Boulevard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's the pastor there.
Yeah, he's the pastor there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you know, the little busy fella. I tell you, he a math physicist. He in finance too.
Okay.
Yeah, he my older both. Oldest engineer, you know. But June, Dr. June tell me June got a story to tell me everything about her children. She loved her children so much at school, you know.
But we don't want to leave Lazarus that way he do.
Yeah, Lazarus a coach.
Okay.
He always got a coach. He loved his coaching and teaching.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, I seen Mr. Henry had became a pastor. I said okay, and so you said you had your theology degree too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that goes in good with all that writing. I knew you had to have something in you to be putting it all out.
But what everything that come from God, I have nothing in me worth nothing.
Yes, man.
I give nothing to my flesh.
Yeah, man.
Anything in me worth anything, it's of God.
God,
ain't nothing in me worth nothing.
Amen.
So I got nothing to boast or brag about, but the mercy and grace of God.
Yes, man.
Because there's enough mercy and grace in God to cover any kind of sin. The baddest sin in the world, you know what the baddest sin in the world is, Patrick?
What's that?
It's rejecting Jesus. Mm. And when you reject him, you tell him you don't want nothing to do with him. Mm. And then he'll turn you over to a reprobated mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And it'll be too late when you die.
It'll be too late.
It'll be too late. Because there's going to come a time where people going to be too late. And run after all the material things, money, and don't know Jesus, don't give them a time, don't pray. Then when the children get up growing and want to put them wrong with it because they never put no Jesus in the children. Mm-hmm. These children you got to put Jesus in your children. He took all my life to raise my children, Patrick. He took all my life to raise them 4 children. But they were good children. They didn't give me no trouble. I ain't never had to go to jail and get them out of jail, no stuff like that.
Praise the Lord.
You know, they were good children. Only thing they grew up too fast. This house so quiet. This house would be so lively. You know, they so quiet right. You see how quiet this be there?
Yeah, man.
Quiet, and that's the way I planned it.
Yeah, man.
I raised them and planned it so you can get on about your business. Mama and daddy love you from a distance, but mama and daddy gotta have some quiet time because we married so young, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And we can, have a little time to rest before we die.
Yeah, man. Well, that's all right. Well, Miss Chennault, I ain't gonna hold y'all up then.
You ain't holding me up, Patrick. I don't have nothing to do with you guys.
Again, I appreciate you all. Appreciate you sitting down and you all let me in your home and sit down to interview. Because I said, I got to reach out to Miss Chennault because I know she got some story to tell, and I've been wanting to get the book and stuff, and let people know that this is a woman of God who's got a word from God. And it don't have to always come from no pulpit. God got several ways to get his message across.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I ain't fighting for no pulpit. I ain't looking for no pulpit. I'm free. I don't care about all that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a little like, cause everybody in the pulpit gonna die. Somebody else gonna be in the pulpit. Don't nobody own no pulpit.
That's right.
You gotta stand your time down, then you gonna die, gonna move on. Don't never think you on no pulpit. It about no pulpit. It about bringing people to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
See, we done lost it. Salvation, repentance, sin. Them boys need to be brought back to the forefront.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we have lost our way.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's so sad. And you know who gonna get the linen on the stick of it? Their children.
Yeah, ma'am.
Them children gonna get the linen on the stick if they don't turn around.
Oh yeah, that's why I told somebody today you can't depend on the church to do it all, because a lot of churches just a few funerals from shutting the doors anyway. So we got to reach these young people to bring them in. If they don't bring them to the church, you got to at least bring them to the law. If you don't come to the church, you need to at least come to the law.
That's right.
Yeah, because the law to be there when the church closed.
Yes.
But Miss Chennault, again, we thank you.
Yeah, you welcome,
I'll tell the people again to go get these 2 books she had about. What's the name of the first one again? Let's show them again.
Next time I go to heaven, I will not be back.
Okay.
And shucks and silk.
And the 3rd one will be coming out soon.
Yeah,
so
I can't tell you the title of that book. I can't know the title of my book, but my daughter.
Right. Well, y'all go get and read the first 2. So about time she get completed with the 3rd one, you'll be ready for it.
So, and Pastor, I got another book coming out too.
Number 4?
Yes.
Okay.
How You Raise a Black Boy.
Okay.
That book coming up.
Well, that ought to be a bestseller, right?
Yeah, that's what my son said, Mama, you did something pretty good with us. My son, I talked with him about the morning. He said, Mommy, right. I said, I got to see what the Lord gonna give me on that. You know, I just go to sit there and I prescribe, so I got to see what the Lord gonna give me.
Yes, ma'am.
And whatever He give me, I'm gonna put it in that book. Then like I did these 2.
Right, because our black boys, they definitely
2 men are falling through the cracks.
need to get a word. And like you said, they ain't coming to the church, so we got to find another way to get it.
Yes, sir.
But again, I thank you, and I pray that God continue to bless you and use you with all your writing and your ministry.
Yes, sir.
And thank you.
God bless you too.
But I'm still here.